first. So
right, yeah, but I recommend building your defense first before you get into investing. But just in general, because you're saying you're not at that investing step.
Okay, so building your defense first. Give us.
Defense, right? Yeah, to summarize it. So defense, first thing you need to do, obviously build your team mental makeup, but now we're getting to the finance part of it. So first thing you need to do is budget. You need to get on your budget. You need to know how much money you make a month. You need to know how much your expenses are a month. That's income and outgo. Then you're going to do income minus outgo. You're going to have a certain amount left over, and that's the money you're going to use. In this case, if you have debt, to pay off your debt, you can build an emergency fund first, roughly $1,000. Pick or choose. That initial emergency fund, I usually say no more than how much money you make a month, but it's probably going to take you a while to save up that money. Then after that, financial house, right? So you got food, shelter. Shelter is utilities and your rent and mortgage. Mm-hmm. Third thing is going to be clothing. Fourth thing is going to be transportation. Transportation is car insurance, gas, and then car note if you have one, but we're paying off debt in this case, so it'd be gone eventually. Right. Then you got fifth one is insurance, so medical, dental, vision, then life insurance, and then the sixth one, like I said, the emergency fund.
And potentially pet insurance.
Well, insurance is in there. That's the fifth. Insurance is before the emergency fund. You do not want to be underinsured because 99% of people don't make enough money to be underinsured. People complain how expensive medical care is in America. Yes, this is why you need to be insured. This is why you need to not go on vacation because you're never mind. Well, hey, you underinsured? You go on vacation out the country, boy.
Wow.
First of all, good luck getting your medical insurance cleared out there. But then even if it do, whatever, y'all be killing me. Y'all don't be killing me, but I should be like, oh my goodness, I just see your future. The future you already exist. But yeah, you want to have that in place. Like I said, 6 things, emergency fund. So budgeting, then have the financial house in place, and then I would have people consider paying off their debt first. But if you don't, again. So we're not doing the debt payoff right now. So either you are going to do it,
right? Then
you have the emergency fund built. Once that's done, and you can have your wills in place, your estate planning, those type of things set up, and then after that's all done, you transition to offense or investing, which is really all offense is, just making money, building wealth, generational wealth.
Right. So that was a solid. So just so y'all know, that was a solid defensive plan. So make sure y'all execute.
To keep it real, if you have no debt, 6 months saved, and you can budget not like a maniac, but you've been budgeting for years, and you're properly insured.
Take it from somebody who's executing and going through the steps and living it. If you're playing defense and you get to those end stages, like I'm still playing a little bit of defense. I'm getting transitioning. But when your defense is solid, I don't want to say it's very little that can go wrong, but it kind of is. It's very little that can go wrong from a defensive standpoint.
No, Dave Ramsey says you turn an emergency into inconvenience. And the one thing, again, everyone's different on their debt payoff journey. Obviously, I don't like people who have longer ones, but I have some clients who have some that are less than 6 months that they can get out of debt. But the one thing about having 12, 18, 24 plus months is you get to get in the rhythm and really change your habits, because, all that time you've been building on it. But you get to the point where you want to be an adult, you want to buy a house, you got to start learning that $100, purchases, that's called a dollar store once you get a house.
Everything got 4 digits before the smallest purchase.
Yeah, now we're getting into, all my checks got commas in it. All these maintenance bills got commas in them. So, and that, you got to get, I'm going to say used to it, but, you start realizing a couple $1,000, that's just where you're at now. And that's good. You want to start progressing. And it's not good that stuff costs more. We want stuff to be as cheap as possible from a finance standpoint. But, wealth conscious and health conscious. But you want to get, used to making bigger purchases. That's the one thing I don't know if some people realize that they don't know what it's like to spend $10,000+ multiple times. Now I'm a bad case because it doesn't impact me at all, especially the last investment I just made. It does not impact. Hey, bro, I was less calm after I made the investment than before I made it. That's when it's bad.
Hey,
but
ice in his veins.
Yeah. Oh no. Talking about mental makeup and risk tolerance. That's why I said I got to stop spending money because my risk tolerance is technically undefined. I just be out here. But
that joint say error.
But yeah, when you have the defense in place, it is just very even if you lose your job, and again, if you lose your job, the budget will actually let you know, again, financial house, how much money you make. A lot of you, if you have no debt and you really have your budget locked into your financial house, what your true necessities are, you can, people are gonna get mad, but you can probably make it off of minimum wage. And probably an extra. I mean, if both of y'all are working, minimum wage is $11, at least in Maryland. Let me say this, in Maryland, right? But a lot of you most of you don't need more than $3,000 or $4,000 a month. If you just pay for your necessities, that's all you pay for. And that's we just pandemic. For those of you who aren't catching that, when the pandemic happens and you lose your job, you're not going to be paying. Hopefully, you're not paying for Netflix and all those other subscriptions that are draining your budget. You're just going to pay flat out for the necessities.
Right. And Netflix ain't a necessity, Cory.
Not during the pandemic.
In the house, Cory.
Well, that's what I talk about, the budget and the team. I mean, and I know you're being facetious, but I mean, people do do this, and it's like, okay, this is why your finances are what they are, right? That goes to the mental makeup we were talking about previously, and it's like if you don't understand that in the pandemic, after you lose your job and your spouse does, that you can't have anything that is a necessity. Listen, that's on you. I said God made hell for a reason. You're going to financial purgatory. You're making bad decisions and you get no money.
No, you can't tell the difference between whether you should be paying for Netflix or buying food for the household. That's a problem. Okay, I mean, you shouldn't even have to pick one. It's a default option, right? Right. One of them, if the other one isn't available, that's okay. All right. Right.
Yeah. So I said, people now, dang, he's really dodging the investing information. Okay.
Walking that tightrope.
But I got to be clear on that. So you have the defense in first. So let's say you're not really at that point. So you're sort of like the position Jordan and his wife are in. You're transitioning. So you're finishing the emergency fund and you're right about to get out of debt. And it's like, how do we move towards investing? So for investing, what I wouldn't say I recommend, this is just the math on the situation. 15% pre-tax income. So if you make $100,000, you need to be investing $15,000. That's 15% of $100,000. Now, you don't need to invest $15,000 pre-tax dollars. Mm-hmm. That's different. The amount of money you invest needs to equal 15% of your pre-tax income. That's completely different. So let's say you have a 401k and you have a Roth IRA. So in your 401k, if you put $9,000 in there, right, that's pre-tax. In your Roth, you would put $6,000 in there to get your total of $15,000, which is 15% of your pre-tax income if you make 100%. You don't do I put $9,000, pre-tax dollars in my 401k, then, whatever the tax is, say you put $4,000 in your Roth because that's technically post-tax dollars, but it's technically $6,000 because, I paid the taxes on it. Nope, 15% of your pre-tax income, not 15% in pre-tax dollars. So that's what you want to work towards initially. What I really recommend, I guess I'm going to dibble dab in it now. I recommend either 0% from a 401k standpoint, 0% in your 401k, okay, whatever you need to get your match. Some people have crazy matches, so we have a friend who says she's getting 10% match. Woo! But most people, mine's 5% to get 4%, and and then the 4% is technically 0.5%. Right. But usually it's 4 or 5. You gotta put anywhere from 4 to 5% in to get your match, right?
I feel like the way it's phrased is usually 3% every $1,
every dollar
for every other dollar.
Yeah, it's just
4% for every dollar. I mean, look, we can do math, anyways. Right. Hopefully, we can do math this episode.
Yeah, I think we're good on this one. But when I listen to this, I'll probably be wrong. But yeah, I recommend 0%. Or enough to get your match, or putting in the 15%. The one reason I say that is back to the budget. Mm-hmm. As long as you don't have any significant medical issues, chronic issues from an insurance standpoint, the second biggest thing that's going to hit your budget is your investments. The only thing bigger than that is going to be your mortgage.
Gotcha.
One day you're not going to have a mortgage, so the most thing you're going to be spending, hopefully one day you don't do the death pledge with the mortgage. One day, you'll have no mortgage, and the most you'll be investing your mortgage payment one day, right? That's how you get let's stay right there. That's how you get the big money right there. But yeah, I would say get there as fast as possible, because if you're investing, 6%, again, these are pre-tax dollars, so your 401k money doesn't get taxed. But if you put 15% away, you're not gonna have as much money as you thought, which is okay because again you're investing it. And again, let's not even say if it's a 401k, just investing in anything y'all want to invest in for right now. Like I said, I'll clear that up when we do the investing stuff. But you're putting 15% into anything. When you take that, out your budget. If you make $6,000 a month, that's $900. I don't know what that is. It's $900. 15 times 6 is 9. That's $900 gone. I was gonna say that's almost 20%. Yes, Cory, 15% is almost 20%. That's how hard I'm thinking on the math to make sure I know I was right. But take $900 out your budget. Let's say you're not investing at all and you make $6,000, right? So $900 a month gone. Straight to investors. Again, we're talking about dollar cost averaging, DCA. So you're investing the same amount of money every month. Obviously, something like a Roth IRA or traditional IRA, you can put all that money, in at one time, and you're good for the year. But your 401k, that is dollar cost averaging. Every time you get paid, you're gonna be putting that money away.
So, side tangent, not to get away from this question. So, is it okay to stop contributing to your investment funds to pay off debt at the time? Like, let's say I'm contributing and I'm trying to execute my plan. Can I stop contributing to pay off my debt?
Or you said, is it okay? That's what again, I'm plugging myself. Financial Side Startup Kit. It's on my link tree. Read that. I'll try to get you out of debt as fast as possible and get back to the defense. Because once you move to offense, I never want to have to go back to defense. The only time we're going to go back to defense is, we got to beef up your insurance, because things change in your life. You had a kid, whatever, some medical issue. Obviously, the estate planning, the wills, you're always going to redo that as you gain assets. We got that, and then your emergency fund. If your expenses go up. Other than that, you would never want to have to go back to defense.
So it should be small tweaks. You shouldn't be redoing it.
Yeah. Well, you'll always be making tweaks to your emergency fund and your estate. Because as your assets increase, you're gonna have to update your estate. You can automate that type of stuff.
Gotcha.
But you're always making changes with that. Your emergency fund might be static depending on how things go.
Right.
But yeah, you're not going to be constantly making changes to your defense unless you're going through significant life changes. But
right.
Yeah, once it's done, defense. They travel on the road.
Yeah.
Defense reacts, read and react. They don't make the first decision. So yeah, but if you never have to go back to your defense, what's that mean? You're always on offense. So that means you're always investing, and that's what I really try to get people to. Is getting you to the point, not to where your debt is paid off, but getting you to the point where you never have to stop investing, and all you're trying to do every month, every year, whatever pace you want to do, is increase the amount of money you're investing. I guess you guys are getting the investment talk now. Hey. A lot of people are worried about their rate of return, which is understandable, but you also need to put yourself in a position where you're increasing the amount of money you're investing a month. So let's say you're putting $100 away, which is a great start. You need to work your way to 200, 3, 4, 5. You want to get to that point, because the great thing with math is eventually, when you start looking at the percentages, you will need less of a rate of return when you're investing more money. So let's say you invest $100, right? Mm-hmm. If you get 1,000% return on $100, how much money is that?
Don't ask me. I'm not going to answer.
It's $1,000. 100% return. About 100% of 100 is 100. So 10 times that is 1,000. 1,000% return. Where are you? Well, short squeezes. Where are you getting to the moon? You're not out here. You don't invest to get 1,000% return. And if you are out here knowing you're about to get 1,000% return, send me a message. No. I got some money. I got some people who got some money, but you don't look to get 1,000% return. Right. But then think about this. Let's say you get that $1,000 and you get another 1,000% return on that. How much money is that?
I'm gonna answer this time.
Okay.
Is it $10,000?
It's $10,000. You had to get 2,000% returns in a row. They don't. That's no. It doesn't happen. Right. So I would like to get you to the point where you're investing $100, $200, $300, but eventually you can invest thousands of dollars the same way you used to invest $100. Because like I said, 0%, then enough to get your match, then 15%, and then eventually you want to work to the point where you're investing 99% of your income. I'm going to leave it right there on that.
You said 99%?
99% of your income. That's what you want to work to. What do you think the wealthy do, y'all?
That's a lot of money, bro.
You want to reach that's the goal.
But then they can live off the interest or their 1%, right? I mean, I guess they got enough for
Yeah.
that 1%
Well,
is more than.
I mean, let's say you make $100 million a year.
Right.
1% of that is $1 million.
Oh yeah. Everything's probably paid for.
Right.
Okay, whatever.
Yeah. And then when you again, it's not what I really try to say is don't spend more than 50% of your income on your necessities, because if you do, you'll have less than 50% to save and invest. So that's why the initial goal to shoot for, and then as you're building things like you're furnishing a house, right? You need to get a fence, you need to get a deck, you need to get a toilet, right?
Yeah,
that's what Jordan's going through, by the way. But all these things are adding up. But eventually, like I said, I'm so big on paying off the debt and getting the defense squared away. So all we do is invest, and working on increasing it. That's what I try to do.